Alright, so this video is going to show you how to create some pixel art. This is using a free web app called piskelapp.com. Now, this does not have a login anymore. They shut down their services, but we do have access to the tool itself still. So you can still create artwork, you just have to export it. You can't save it within the website. First off, from piskelapp.com, we're going to go to click Create Sprite. And we have a grid that we can work with where we can actually draw in shapes. You can work with individual cells. You can click in to the left mouse button to draw. You can change the color down here at the bottom. And notice you have a hex code. Yeah, so you can actually play around with the hex codes and see what you get. And you can create different colors. Now, this is given to you in 32-bit form, so you have access to a lot of different color shades, a lot of different shades, which can be nice, but it's also can be fairly daunting. Now, the pixels themselves are actually fairly large. We're actually working in an 8-bit size format, or maybe 16-bit. But you don't have a whole lot of room for detail by default. You can go in and change size over here on the right. You click resize and you can set it, yeah, it's 32 by 32. You can set it to 64 by 64. And so now your pixels are smaller, so you can put in more detail. I'm gonna leave it 32 by 32 though, just for the sake of this demonstration. You have your pen tool. You have a vertical mirror tool, where if what you draw on one side will show up on the other. Pick a different color for this. So you can draw something on either side and it'll show up mirrored. You have a paint bucket tool, which will let you paint in all cells nearby that are connected. You can also change the color of all your pixels. So let's say I wanted all of this purple to be green instead. I can click on one of that color and it will change all of the cells of that color to this other color. You have your eraser tool, which lets you erase. You can change the size of the eraser up here to make it larger. There's a stroke tool, which will let you draw a line. So I'm just holding the button down, moving the mouse, and it will draw a line in that relative space. The closest approximation you can get with a straight line, considering you have these boxes to work with. You can also do a rectangle, do a circle, or whatever's close to a circle as you can get. If you hold on Shift, it keeps it to a actual circle shape, so it doesn't get stretched. The Move tool, which will let you move things. Shape selection tool, which will let you select just part of what you're working with. And you can like Control C, Control V, so you get 2 or more. Then you have your rectangle selection and lasso selection, which is fine. The next tool we have is the lighten and darken tool. So lighten will get a slightly lighter shade of that color, and the longer you hold down on one area, the brighter it will be. So you can give the impression of, and I'll do that, of highlights. So you can make it look shiny. And if you hold down Control, you can darken, so it'll let you put in shadows. And you can hold on Shift at the same time to make sure it only will apply one per pixel, so it doesn't get too dark. You can go over it multiple times though, so you can get shading. Notice it is still going block by block. It is not a perfectly smooth process. Then I have the dithering tool, which if you select 2 different colors, it will rather like give you a pattern of one color than the other color. So let's pick a green, and so it will alternate between the colors as you're going across. Then you have color picker. Let's say you like this shade of blue better, right? You can set that as your main color that you're coloring with. Now, I have over here on the left-hand side different frames. So I can actually create a new frame. Now I have two different images. You can see over here on the right, we actually get a preview of what it would look like, because I can actually draw in animations. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the first frame because I just want to start with just a basic circle. Draw a circle there. And I'm going to add in a new frame. And now whatever I draw here, it'll show up. So the preview over on the side, and it's a little small to see, but I can create it as a pop-up if I wanted to. Increase the size. So by going up here and setting this to full, so it's going to alternate between those two because it's an animation. If I add in another frame on here, it'll show it in that sort of pattern. I'm going to go ahead and draw a little stick figure. And I just want him to wave. So I can actually duplicate this frame. And on frame 2, take the eraser, and I can erase the arm, and I can draw it a little bit lower. But I can't see where it was. Going back and forth would be annoying. So I get access to this little thing called onion skin. Press that, it will put a shadow of the frame before it. So I can draw in where I want it to be, having it match exactly, or have it move just a little bit further down. So maybe I want this to go here, and then here, then here, and then here. Now his arm's wiggling. So probably not a good call there. Let's go down here. And I can duplicate this frame again, erase, and draw his arm perfectly straight. And I can duplicate again, and you get the point. So we can create these animations, and they can actually be imported directly into Unity. So, I mean, this probably would not be the best animation to put into a game, but I could. Alright, so I finished out my animation, and I have his arm moving down. But what if I wanted to go back up also? I would have to do that by hand, and that'd be kind of annoying. Thing is, because I'm working on a game engine, I could actually just repeat frames of animation when I wanted to. But for the sake of argument, I could just go through and duplicate and then rearrange. So now the animation has his arm moving up and then down. I can also transform, so I can just set it to switch the sides one by one. If I wanted to flip to the other side, I would have to go to each frame and then flip it. I can rotate it. You can also set it to align to center. Since I kind of drew these little off center, if you press the align to center button, it will just shift everything over. You also have your color palette down here where you can actually define your colors that you want to work with, and add, and then I'll do blue, and you can even save that palette to use elsewhere if you wanted to. Or if you, let's say you have a favorite color and you know what the hex code is, you can actually just put the hex code directly in here. And as I said earlier, you can't actually save inside of Piskel, which is kind of annoying. But what you can do is you can go into save over here on the right, where you can save it locally as a Piskel file, and you can re-upload it later. If you save it locally in your browser, if your browser cache gets cleared, it's not great. So I recommend, if you want to make sure you really do save it, you can click Save as Piskel. That will download a file that you can re-import later. And to import, you actually just go to this bottom button down here, import. Then you can browse Piskel, and you can find that file as you download it and re-upload it. Let's say you actually wanted to put this directly into your game. You go to export, you can set it to what scale you want it to be, what resolution. You can have it go as a GIF, you can download as PNG, or you can get a sprite sheet. So if I click PNG, download sprite sheet, and then open that up, and I can see that I have each one of those frames of animation right here that I can then import into Unity and cut out and use it directly in my game. If you wanted to, you could also have it export images by itself or as a zip file. So there's a couple different things you could do. Let's say you drew an animation, you liked it, you could also just download the GIF and you can send it to people. If you wanted to, you can go ahead and share your creation. If you wanted to take some time to really draw something out, or if you wanted to import an image. So if you go to import and then browse images, and you can actually grab an image from your computer, and you can set the resize a single image or set it to the proper size that you want it to be. Click next. Well, let's say I want this to be 32 by 32. Right. Click next, and I want to combine with the spread, I guess, as new frame. So I then take that and use the fact that I have the onion skin, and the flashing is a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this slider off. And now I can go in and actually trace. It's there. Paying more attention than I am doing right now. And draw out a picture as a sprite. And probably be best to have the vertical mirror tool, so you don't have to do it twice. And there you go. So that's a quick summary of using the Piskel app. And yeah, thanks.